welcome to our bonus episode for The Pusher. The huffing noise you can hear is not a tiger about to pounce, but Steve-O checking the smell of his edition of the book. I think he's a bit disappointed in the
doesn't
lack
smell of
a-
anything.
Well, as I said, it's too
Hence
new an
the
edition, isn't
numerous
it?
sniffs to
check.
eke out an odour.
To try really hard. Did you smelt my book, didn't you?
I did, yeah. That
That'd have more-
smelled pleasantly old.
That was always...
For it is an older
It
edition.
is an older edition. And,
Mine's new and therefore doesn't smell
well,
of anything.
I'll describe my edition first. Mine's the Penguin edition, which I got a bit confused by. I couldn't work out what year it was actually published because on the copyright page at the front it said published in Penguin Books 1963, but it doesn't actually say when this book came from. And I looked at the back and it said £3.99. I was like, well, 1963, you couldn't have had a price as £3.99.
No.
And I went onto a sort of website that calculates equivalent prices. If this was published in 1963 and cost £4, it would have been the equivalent of £58 in today's money.
And worth every penny.
Well, definitely. But actually, as it turns out, the mystery doesn't end there. This was published in 1970, a year before decimalisation, and still has £3.99 printed on it. So it must have, I think it was published very late in 1970 with anticipation for
Cunning.
decimalisation coming
I
out.
suppose it would have been daft to publish it at that stage with shillings and stuff.
Yeah. So, yes, there's a little historical artefact there in
There
mine.
we go.
And mine's got a very exciting cover of a syringe with a feather by it.
So yeah, so someone's explained a couple of points from the book, and then that'll do.
Graphic design being somewhat more simplistic in Penguin's publishing house in those days.
The McBain and the Pusher's got a good font.
Yeah, it's a nice logo on the front cover as well, actually. That's
yeah.
true. And it's a nice edition, but it's uncomplicated, shall we say, in its portrayal of what might come up.
It's a bloody big syringe, that's like turkey basting syringe, that.
Well, they were, really into it in
No
those
wonder he
days.
died of an overdose.
Just stick it up his nose.
Yeah.
I've got, and also I bought this on eBay, I think, this book, and inside it's got a mysterious ink pattern on it. There's some lines that look almost like some child has perhaps tried to draw something, but not quite. So I'll put a picture of that up, and if you want to interpret it, then feel free. And whereas Steve-O has the...
Well, mine's the same as the previous two, actually. So, nothing other to report. The Orion 2003 UK third paperback Orion books. So, yes, I've pretty much described those previously. Smaller syringe, a bit more accurate, and a screwed up $100 bill. But Morgan's got a variation of this
Variation of the
edition,
thing. I have
it's
the,
3 times bigger.
Yes, the Orion 2009.
large print edition.
3 books in one omnibus edition, which, it just ridiculously puts the Pusher with King's Ransom, which is, I think, early 60s, is it? Possibly?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Relative, yeah.
And Money,
Not far
Money,
off.
Money, which is early 2000s. Totally
Why not?
insane. Makes no sense at all.
There's no thematic link, is there either, I don't think?
No, someone's just gone, we've got this many pages to fill, which 3 books will fill it? Oh, that'll do.
Yeah. And of course then they have to choose one cover for it rather than make a new one.
So what's on the cover?
It's the cover of King's Ransom.
Oh, right.
Mainly.
okay.
It's got a little thumbnail of your edition's cover on the back there.
I see.
But yeah, I
They're
was
nice enough, though, these
happy
Orions.
to get it, and
actually.
I quite happily read all 3 books in sequence. Didn't make any particular sense continuity-wise, but I enjoyed them all, so...
Fair enough. Talking about books, I was at another good second-hand bookshop in Liverpool today, which was Henry Bone Books near Lime Street Station. It's been around a long time, that bookshop. It has an advantage over Reed's Liverpool by being slightly easier to find the sections for what you want. Sorry, Reeds, I do love you, but it's quite hard sometimes to find the bits unless you know it.
Very narrow aisles in there.
Yeah, it's quite hard to
Training
get
one's
around.
neck is quite difficult.
It's quite hard to get around Henry Bone, though, because it's got a weird island in the middle of it.
It has, yeah.
But I was looking for a copy of Rabbie Burns' poetry for my partner, Lorraine, And I found a rubbish penguin one. It was the only one on the shelf in the poetry section, and I went to buy it. It was £2. And as I was walking along, I found another copy, an old copy, probably from sort of 1900, something like that, perhaps earlier. And I looked at it, I thought, that's just so much nicer. And it was complete works of Robbie Burns, and it was old, and it was in good nick. Excuse me, it was in good nick. And so I looked inside, and I thought it said £10. And I thought, do you know what? She's worth £10. I'll put down the rubbish penguin edition, and I'll buy this. And I went over to the till, and I passed it to him, and he went, "Oh, all right, okay, 10p."
Excellent.
So she's also worth 10p.
Yeah.
At which point, I subtly moved where my fingers were in my wallet across to the coin thing. So that was today's book buying adventure.
Excellent.
The other thing I wanted to mention about books, and Ed McBain, or rather not Ed McBain, Evan Hunter, is I have now read The Blackboard Jungle,
Ooh.
which is very, very interesting, and I'm looking forward to watching the film and comparing, because I suspect they might not have much to do with each other.
Quite possibly.
So perhaps we should all watch the film together and
that'd be good.
and report back on that rock and roll mayhem.
So what's the book like then?
It's
Thematically and tonal.
I think it's quite violent. It's quite a violent portrayal of technical colleges, which would now be sort of vocational colleges like we have, that the government is slowly killing off. It's some very strong violence in it, but also sort of it goes some way towards an interesting moral point and like a breakthrough and a positive message, and it doesn't quite get there, and bad things happen to the main character who you like, and I suspect the film doesn't do anything like that in quite such a dramatic way. It certainly doesn't have a moment in the book where it says, "And then they listened to Rock Around the Clock and all had a jive."
Oh, well, that's it. It's finished for me.
Yeah. No Bill Haley cameo in the book. But it's very good, very good. Yes, the book that made Evan Hunter's name, really, and enabled him to be the writer as Ed McBain that he became. He's a very interesting man.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. Anything exciting happened to you chaps?
No.
No?
Don't think so.
Oh dear, oh dear. It's just been getting into the new year, hasn't it? As I said, the exciting golden horizons that we've got. Golden horizons, like you read that however you want, given some of the stories that have come out around the megalomaniacal Satsuma. So I think we'll leave it at that then, and perhaps go off and should we do a pub quiz?
Why not?
Okay. My specialist subject, Ed McBain. Bye.